So to be a musician these days, it's not easy. And I think I made that point pretty clearly on this podcast so far. Certainly now, when you can't even tour in a pandemic, you can't sell your stuff in front of your fans. You have to hope that they tune into your live stream or they're following you on Twitter or whatever to find out that you got a new album coming out, because you just can't sell it from your basement. It's just incredibly difficult to make money doing it at all. It was hard to do that before the pandemic because you couldn't make any money on Spotify or iTunes anyway. But, at the same time, you get your music out before a lot more people than you could have 20 years ago. You can just get something on YouTube. You can get something on Spotify. It's a lot easier than getting on the radio. So, it's definitely a double-edged sword. You get a bigger audience, but you're not going to make as much money. So, yeah, you're making a big sacrifice. And perhaps of all the people I've been talking to so far, I don't think quite as many have sacrificed quite as much as Lisset Diaz, my next guest. Lisset is the lead singer and chief songwriter of the band Sweet Lizzy Project. Right now they're based in Nashville, Tennessee, but they're actually from Havana, Cuba. They came here in 2017 to record their new album after they were discovered by Raul Malo of the band The Mavericks. Raul Malo saw them in 2017 while producing an episode of a PBS special called Havana Time Machine. Lisset and her band are featured in that PBS special, and through that chance meeting with Raul Malo, they then got a chance to come to Nashville to record an album. Now, it wasn't easy. Back then, 2017, you could actually get to Cuba and back with a lot less difficulty than you can now. You recall in 2016, President Obama began the thaw, began to normalize relations between the two countries that would allow people to travel back and forth pretty freely. But the new guy came in and changed all that, and now it's incredibly difficult to go back and forth. And that was before the pandemic. Now you can't even go there at all. So for Lisset and her band, they're not quite sure when they can go back home. And not only that, Lisset wasn't even sure she was going to do this for a living. Before she was in the band, she was teaching science at the University of Havana. Thankfully, her partner, Miguel Comas, convinced her that she was good enough to do music for a living. And so after the PBS special and they came to Nashville to record their album Technicolor, they're all set to release it this February when, of course, what happened next? The pandemic. So they got this fantastic new album, and they can't tour. They can't support it. Now, interestingly enough, you may know one of the songs by this band. It's called Turn Up the Radio. If you can remember going to the gym before the pandemic, and maybe you took a Zumba class, or your wife took a Zumba class, and you heard this one song over and over again, and you're going to hear it here too, and Lissette's going to walk you through how this song came together. It's actually a cover song, but the way they do it, they just took complete ownership of it. It was one of the last songs they recorded before they came here. And we're so thankful that she did, because the band's album, Technicolor, it's just spectacular. And they didn't just rest on their laurels. Even though Technicolor came out in February, they kept recording new material. And in fact, they have a new single called Sticky Situations, which we feature on this episode as well. It came out last month about what they've been doing during the pandemic. So I'm very just thrilled to welcome Lisset to Four Songs. And this is just a fantastic interview, and it goes a bit long, but Lissette's personality is just infectious. And so, again, please welcome Lisset Diaz to Four Songs.
Hey, Lisset, how you doing? Thanks for joining me tonight.
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Well, I'm really excited about our conversation. And I started this back in May when the pandemic was just taking hold, not knowing it was going to still be here this long. So one of the questions I've been asking everybody is, how has this affected, obviously it's affected your careers about touring, but were you guys in the midst of a tour? Were you about ready to start? What was your experience when everything
started? It's been great. Well, we spent the last 3 years working on our record Technicolor that came out February 21st. And it came out February 21st because we didn't want to rush it. Like we were waiting for the perfect time to put it out. and we did. It was perfect. It was like 3 weeks before the pandemic. So yeah, obviously everything was canceled. I live in the same house with my bandmates, which is 4 guys. So yeah, we've been, stuck here in the house, which it's been a blessing because we've been recording a lot. We've been not only writing, because it's sometimes you write, like I'm writing songs all the time, and I have just pieces of this song on my phone, and then another one in a notebook or something. But sometimes you don't have the time to complete the cycle right away. Well, that obviously hasn't been a problem right now, because it's really easy. It's like, hey, I wrote this song, can we record it? And then it's like, Angel's a drummer, can you come down and just play drums? And yeah, sure. So it's been like that. Also, I think that because of the pandemic and the fact that we felt like it took us too long to put this record Technicolor together, and we went through a lot to be able to do it. It was like a revelation or something, like we need to do this faster somehow. We can do it, and we just want to put music out and give our fans what we love the most, which is music, in a regular basis. And that's what we've been doing. We just put out a new single that's called Sticky Situations. We decided that it was a good idea for, especially this year, to put out some Christmas music. So that's the other thing that we did, and we are very, very excited about it. So yeah, it sucks. There's a world pandemic and all that, but I think we've made the best out of this situation. So
good. So we'll be talking about Sticky Situations and 3 songs from Technicolor. And before we get there, though, I just wanted to catch up on your band's incredible story and how you all got from Havana to Nashville.
Well, it was not part of my plan. Whatever my plan was, I was yeah, when I think about it, I feel like I've never had a plan. That's why I studied biochemistry and molecular biology, and now I'm here in Nashville with my band, living with 4 guys. So yeah, it doesn't feel like I have a plan, but I don't know. I also like to believe that things happen for a reason. Whatever adventure I can get to live, I'll do it, just because why not? So this was like 3 years ago. We met the producers of, have you heard of Bluegrass Underground? It's a show that literally happens in a cave. Terrific show. So these producers went to Cuba because they wanted to film a PBS special that's called Havana Time Machine. Is out there somewhere, and they thought that our band was very different from whatever they were expecting from a Cuban band, because it was rock and roll in English, and it was very underground in Cuba, because the Cuban government doesn't promote music that is not, like, not necessarily traditional Cuban music, but something more like Latin, like, I don't know, rock and roll in English is not what they want to promote. Mm-hmm. And in Cuba, you have to go through the government, basically, to be able to perform and make music. It's not like here. And the host of this show, this PBS special, was Raul Malo from the Mavericks. That's how we met Raul. Raul was starting this record label, Monomundo Recordings. And since he's kind of Cuban as well, like a Cuban from Miami, and he loved the music, and he fell in love with the band. He thought it would be great to sign us, and we were like, yeah, sure, of course, please. So obviously from Cuba, it was going to be kind of hard to make this record happen, and that's how we decided to come here to Nashville. In the beginning, we didn't know what we were doing, like if it was going to be just to record and then just maybe go on tour and then go back to Cuba. But things got complicated because the American embassy in Cuba was shut down. Right. Actually, we were still in Cuba when that happened. It was really hard for us to finally get our visas to come here. But if that, I don't know, just the situation got so complicated that it didn't make sense to us to go back to Cuba. And also the record didn't happen as soon as we thought. And we also started touring, which was the most exciting thing ever, because we had never done this before, not even in Cuba.
Wow.
So, and this country is massive, and and at the same time, you know, it's, people say that it's hard to be on the road for so long, but it really is not. Like, it's easy.
Mhm.
The roads are there. You can get a car anywhere, which is something in Cuba is pretty much impossible. You can get a car anywhere. You're gonna have gas stations with gas, food, whatever. You're gonna find a cheap hotel to stay and do the gig. And it was fun because, you know, a lot of different places. Every state is different, and at the same time, it's very interesting. Like, you can find something special to do almost everywhere. So it really was a dream come true. Then we found this house. It's been just a series of events, fortunate events, I would
Good.
say. We're here now. We're a green card holder, so we're residents. We're legal. It's, I don't know. It's just, it feels like home now. So that's how we came from Cuba, and we finally stayed here with a record. And now there's a world pandemic, but we all know that.
Yeah. Well, so one thing I was curious about, so you mentioned that you were studying molecular biology.
Biochemistry and molecular
okay.
biology. Yeah.
And you were you were teaching, correct?
Yes. I graduated like 5 years ago. 7 years ago. I don't remember because I stayed I stayed at the University of Havana, and I taught biochemistry like for 3 years before I decided. I was doing both things for a while, like at the same time, music and science, but eventually it was too hard for me to, you know, stay up all night and then wake up very early to go to the university. I was kind of far from, like, where I live in Cuba. It's very far from the university, so it was not, you know, not worth it. But I loved it. I love science. I always did. I still do, but I don't know. Music is my passion. I am that stupid.
Well, I mean, probably y'all are very talented at it, so we're very grateful that you're doing it. So this podcast is about songwriting and the evolution of songs. And so I'm just curious, at what point did you realize that this is what you wanted to do for a living? And you just mentioned how it was difficult to balance the two, but at some point that you had to sacrifice a lot to be where you are now. So at what point did you say, this is what we're going to do?
I think it was when I came here. Before that point, and I would call that like a point of no return. Actually, there's a song that's called These Words that it's on the record, and it's about that. Because before that, I felt like I still had options, you know, like, yeah, I'm a musician and I'm doing this and it's great, but if I could do something else and it will be fine. After that point, it was like, okay, this is it. Not because I don't feel I could do anything else, which I definitely could. It's just that precisely because I've sacrificed so much and I've invested so much time doing this that I feel like I need to do something with that time and with that sacrifice. And also because I don't know, I feel like I'm doing good. I feel like I like it, and I'm doing things that I never thought I would be able to do. I'm seeing things that I never thought I would see. So that's, and I'm very excited about the future and all that. So yeah, but I would say that it was before coming here. That was the biggest change by far that I've done in my life.
Yeah. So, and listen to your music, I hear all sorts of inspirations, and the one that I was trying to think of, because, you know, music critics have to compare everybody to everybody, and I was thinking the comparison I came up with was Pat Benatar, me doing some Fleetwood Mac songs with Gloria Estefan, and I'm curious what you think of that, and then also just some of your inspirations throughout your musical career.
Well, I love Fleetwood Mac. You know, I didn't grow up listening to a lot of music. I don't come from a family of musicians or like you feel the pressure that you have to be a musician because my mom plays the guitar all the time. My mom sings to me all the time. My mom is great, but she cannot sing. No. So it took me a while to find my voice and to feel like, oh, not everybody around me can sing the way I do it. Not that it's great, it's just that it's in tune. It's just that very basic notion about music that doesn't come from school. It's just that you either have it or not.
Right.
Then after that, I think it was my mom. My mom gave me a guitar when I was like 15, and then I started learning a few songs, like the easy ones. And I think Alanis Morissette was a big influence for me. I love the way she sings, how powerful she is, her performance and the lyrics. So yeah, I started playing guitar, and then I don't know. I've always loved writing, not songs, but just in general writing. I always have a lot to say. Not that it's interesting, but I feel like I need to express myself. And then it was, I don't know, it was the combination of the guitar and just that I love singing that I decided that I wanted to start writing songs. I remember that when I had my first two songs, I was like, oh my God, I finished 2 songs. This is a big deal. Not that anybody, I don't want anyone to hear them, but I think that it will be great in the future for my grandchildren to listen to this song and be like, oh, my grandmother is cool. So I was, that was really it. Also, since I didn't know another musician, like a real musician, I was like, oh, no. So science and biochemistry, this is the real career. Music is just like a hobby. I can write songs and do this real thing. That was the way I thought. So I met Miguel Comas, who is my partner and guitar player in the band. He listened to the songs and he was like, oh, no, you need to do this for real. I'm like, nah, I'm not into it. Yeah, no, not. And we ended up making a record in Cuba.
Wow.
Then after the record came out, it was like we started getting like gigs, and we didn't have a band, so that's how we started Sweet Lizzy Project. Here we are.
I wanted to get to the songs, and so the 3 of them come from Technicolor. That's Turn Up the Radio, Tu Libertad, which I'm going to butcher my pronunciation, so I apologize for that in advance. And December 31st, and then we'll talk about Sticky Situations, which is your newest single. So Turn Up the Radio, I know that's a cover song, but written by Enrique Iglesias. But you take ownership of it with your version of it. So I was curious, what drew you to this song? But I know that your interpretation is used English instead of the Spanish. So I was just curious what led you to it first of all, and then the translation and how you added your stamp to it.
Well, that happened. It was like 4 years. It was right before coming here that this song, Súbeme la Radio, which is the Latin hit, it was huge. And one of the songwriters is December Bueno, who is Cuban, but he lives here in the States. He knew the band, and for some reason he wanted us to make the English version of this song. I was not a huge fan of the song, this song in Spanish, but we admired this person, this December Bueno, the songwriter, a lot, and obviously he's a friend, and I don't know, we thought it would be interesting to go a different route, just for fun. And I really loved the version we did in English. I think it was a lot more international. I don't know, it was different even for us because we didn't, by then, we didn't have like dancing upbeat song like Turn Up the Radio.
Turn up the radio, listen to my song, feel the beats coming up strong, lose all control, troubles are gone, let's bring together the moon and the sun. Turn up the radio, listen to my song, feel the beats coming up strong.
When we had the song ready and we sent it to him, he was like, I love it, you need to make a video for it. And that's how the video of Turn Off the Radio. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yes.
We filmed it in Cuba. It was funny because we had never made a video before, basically because we didn't have any money, and that's kind of expensive in Cuba because basically you have to rent everything. It's not like here we have our cameras, we have all our gear, our equipment, so it's easier. But in Cuba we didn't have anything, and we were looking for the cheapest location, the cheapest one, and it was this kind of abandoned pool on this building that is literally falling apart. It was back then, so right now I'm sure it's still there, but it was dangerous. It was really dangerous. And we thought that, okay, since we don't have a lot of money and this is not going to look fancy, so the best thing we could do is, not play back, but sing and perform the song live. And that's the magic of the video. So he loved the video as well. He shared it on all his social media, and it went big. Even in Cuba went big, and that's how we decided to include the song then on Technicolor, because that song was not on a record. We brought it back to the album. It's just part of the spirit of Technicolor. I feel like in Technicolor every song is different and every song tells a story about these 3 years. That one is about our time in Cuba.
With nothing left to lose, no reason to try. So I don't forget you. I love you and I hate you. For all this mess you left behind, and now I'm running out of time. I can't sleep at night, you're stuck in my mind and trying to.
It's not a personal experience like most of my songs. It's the translation of Súbeme la Radio, which is just a Latin pop song, right?
Yeah, because I was listening to the lyrics. I mean, to me, it sounds like you're saying goodbye to Cuba in a way. I mean, I know this is an interpretation, but
yeah,
it just feels it does feel personal, the way you sing it, because it's so powerful.
I already feel the song like a different song. Like when I'm singing it, it's not like, oh, I'm still singing Súbeme la Radio. To me, Súbeme la Radio is not related to Turn Off the Radio anymore. And I'm glad you feel that way. Like you feel like it has some special meaning, but honestly, just the lyrics are the translation to that. What sometimes the song recalls some kind of feeling that is not necessarily coming from the lyrics or the music. It's just something kind of abstract, and that song gives me my last time in the last few months in Cuba. It takes me back to that point all the time. So.
Right. I love it. I think it's just a fantastic song, and so
thank you.
Yeah. So I wanted to move on to. Okay, I apologize. I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, but Tu Libertad, did I get that close to?
Yes, Tu Libertad.
Okay, so this is one of two songs that you sing in Spanish on this album. What's the story behind it? Because the name means your freedom, so I'm curious what the song means to you.
Your freedom, yeah. That song was written by a friend of ours, another Cuban songwriter, and that he's more like a troubadour. It's more like a folk artist. He wrote this song, and it's about a relationship he had, and the feeling of being at the end of it, of being released from whatever relationship he had, right? But we made it different. We changed the style a little bit. And this song was part of that first album I talked to you about that Miguel and we recorded in Cuba. And that song it was there. And when we were doing Technicolor again, you know, we brought a lot of old songs to the table and we listened to all of them. We put a lot of thoughts on this record. It's a shame that the pandemic happened, but that's why it took us so much. It was a long time. So that song was there, and when Raul Malo listened to it, and David Macias, the head of 30 Tigers, which is our distribution company here in Nashville, they were like, oh my God, this song, we need to re-record this. And we went to Blackbird Studios here in Nashville, and we re-recorded the song. And it came out totally different. I mean, and this is something I love about Technicolor as well, is that it has the sound of our little studio, a little apartment in Havana, but at the same time it has the polished and beautiful sound of Blackbird Studios. And those are two good examples, like Tu Libertad and then Turn Up the Radio, that started back in Havana.
Campanas de sal nos mueven el pecho y la sombra del tiempo es un animal, comparsa mayor de los sentimientos, revuelcan lo tierno de tu sonrisa.
So a song that means your freedom, I know that probably might mean a lot of different things to a lot of people, but for you and your band in particular, it might mean a bit more, just given your story and coming to Nashville. Was there more meaning, you think, in singing the song than when you got here, or?
Not really. I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way about this song. Like, also the song is, the lyrics are, if you, I wish you could understand the whole thing in Spanish, because even if I try to translate it, it's just different, because it's a very poetic song. Like it says that it is your freedom, faith, is all that's left.
Es tu libertad, todo lo que queda es fe. Es tu libertad, todo lo que quema se va. Es tu libertad, yeah. Todo lo que queda es fe. Es tu libertad, todo lo que quema se va. Es tu libertad, todo lo que queda es fe. Es tu libertad, todo lo que quema se va.
But it's a beautiful song in Spanish. The lyrics are very deep and very meaningful. I know you might think that a lot of people feel like, oh, it's your freedom, so you're talking about coming to the States and running from communism or whatever. Well, you could think that and probably makes sense, but it's not the meaning behind the song.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you mentioned the translation, and it may not quite come out in the English version, because I was curious, since you write in both languages, is there one that you prefer, or is it easier to, is there one that's more, what's the word, like emotive or poetic? You just mentioned that it is more poetic in Spanish.
I think that because to me it's very weird to sing in Spanish. I don't know why, because obviously Spanish is my first language. Obviously my Spanish is a lot better, like a lot better than my English. But I don't know, I think it's because this is the music I was listening to when I decided to start writing songs. So it's kind of like music speaks to me in English, and I feel like the sounds are softer, are more melodic, almost like Spanish is harder to pronounce, like words hit you stronger. I don't know. I've always written songs in English, but I enjoy singing in Spanish as well.
Well, I want to thank you so much for your time, Lisset. I got two more songs I wanted to chat about. December 31st, and I'm glad you mentioned earlier about the differences between recording in Cuba and recording here, because I feel like it's clear throughout the album, but on this song in particular, where it starts out kind of slow, the guitar strumming, and then by the end of it, it just explodes, I feel like. So
Yeah.
on this, so what was the influence for this song in particular?
That song is called December 31st because it was written July the 2nd, December 31st. It was a very sad New Year's Eve because Miguel and we had broken up. I was very sad. He was dating someone else and I was devastated. How there? Okay, so that happened, and and that's what the song is about. I remember it was raining. It was raining. It was very late. So the song pretty much describes that. It's a little too late, and I was waiting for things that are not happening right now.
It's a little too late. I was waiting for the rain. This night is falling apart. I should probably get some sleep.
Yeah, I'm describing the sadness and the way I felt like I was losing someone who meant literally the world to me, and how stupid I was that I didn't realize that before until you actually lose the person. Duh, always happens. So that's what the song is about.
Yeah, because I just love how it just progressively builds up, and then the end it just hits you. Wow.
Yeah,
so much
I love that song. I love the way it starts very slow, and then at the end we have the chorus and all those voices together. Yeah, I think it was the perfect way to end the record. You know, there's a long way between that first idea of whatever you're writing and whatever your idea of a song is, and then what happens at the end, and how the interaction with all the other guys and the way they play their instruments, and of course the production part, that is all Miguel is the producer of the band. It's just a different song. I don't take full credit for, well, yeah, the lyrics or whatever, but the song is a lot more than just the lyrics. Sometimes it's a lick, or it's just weird hidden part that just makes the song like December 31st. That part of the end, there's not a lot to say. There's not a lot of lyrics there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just love how it all comes.
I just love it.
Yeah, it's the thing I was curious about, because I've always wanted to write songs and I don't have that, whatever it is. So when you are in writing mode, where do you have to go and like mentally, or just does it kind of hit you, or do you feel like you have to work on the lyrics for certain songs or in the music, or did it all kind of come in once for you, or is each song different?
My process is very spontaneous, and also it's very personal. I think it's because when I started, it's not, I love that. Like people here, especially in Nashville, where songwriting is a big deal. It's a job, and people go to the office every day, and your job is writing songs. I love that. It's amazing the way they can do that, because to me, I need to, not that they don't feel what they're doing. That's not what I mean, but it's just that I need something to move me. Like I need something special to happen to me to be able to write about it. So I cannot imagine myself having to do it because that you just have to. So yeah, it's very spontaneous and it's very personal. It's whatever I'm writing, it's deep shit. Like it's something that really happened to me or happened to someone, but someone close.
Yeah. And I wanted to wrap up our conversation to talk about Sticky Situations, which is your latest single. And now this one was written during the pandemic. So how much of it was influenced by what was going on, or?
Yeah, well, the whole theme of this song, like the promotion campaign behind the song, it was all about, and the cover art as well is a bubble gum, right? It's the sticky bubble gum in front of my face, and that's the way I like to think about my life this year, my plans and expectations. It's like all my hopes, my dreams, my expectations are inside this bubble gum, and it's growing and growing in front of my face. And then 2020 comes with a gigantic needle, and now I have bubble gum all over my face and my hair. I'm gonna have to shave my hair, and it's gonna be sad, and I'm gonna look like my bass player. That's the way I think about 2020. And the song is about that. It's about, it's a contrast between my dreams and the way I want my life, and the way I picture my life, and then the series of sticky situations I have to actually deal with.
This time I have a big house by the sea. It's nice. I feel the sand under my feet. And for the weekend I walk around and taking this time with my love. And when it's all dark and sweet, I sing the
What I love about the song is that even though it's the topic is about the pandemic, or what's behind the topic is pandemic and all that, it's not a sad song, because the thing is that no matter what happens, you have to keep going, and you have to try to make the best out of whatever situation life puts you through. So that's why it's an upbeat song. It's kind of catchy. It's a happy song.
live a series of a sticky situations, and I keep dreaming about the perfect life. You say I need to find some kind of motivation, that I can stand your condescending smile. Yeah, I keep dreaming about the perfect life.
Yeah, I mean, it really has so many different directions to it too. I mean, just the energy, and it starts out, kind of quiet, almost like to me, it sounded like a little bit of a Fleetwood Mac song at the very beginning with the guitars.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
love
so
the way
better.
it starts.
Okay.
It
'Cause I was-
makes me, that song, when the song was done, because when I wrote it, I came up with a riff that dana 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 dana. I did that, but then Miguel did that the beginning, and it makes me want to drive.
I'm like a feather in the wind. I don't mind. I move around, I'm wild and free. And for a living,
Like it makes me want to go on the highway and drive. But also maybe the fact that I was in a quarantine for 4 months, maybe that's what was making me want to drive.
Yeah.
So it's a combination. But yeah, the song gives me that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is what I can just imagine how much fun you'd have doing this one live.
Yeah. Well, but we've had some gigs lately, like, you know, outdoor kind of safe gigs, and we've been playing the song. Like people love it. Our fans love the song, which is good. That's why we're gonna keep making music. We have we have the Christmas stuff coming, and then we have another single coming out in January, and probably we'll have another one in February. Why not?
Yeah. So the Christmas, is that going to be original songs that you, or will they be like standard?
It's an EP. We have 4 songs. 2 of them are originals, and the other 2 are covers. The covers are 2,000 Miles by The Pretenders, and the other one is Happy Christmas, War is Over by Lennon. I don't know. We thought, especially that last song is just perfect for this strange time, the world we are sadly living in. So it's a good message that war is over, and it's a call for peace, for happiness. So yeah, that's why we picked that one. 2,000 Miles is just one of the most beautiful songs ever written. That's straightforward. It's a beautiful song. And then the 2 originals, I'm very proud of them. I am. It's the best time I write Christmas music, and the reason why I'm doing it now and not 3 years ago, back to, I don't know, 2017, my first Christmas here, is because I didn't really know what Christmas was. You know, we don't celebrate Christmas in Cuba, so it took me some time to realize and actually appreciate the ritual of Christmas here in the States, how beautiful it is, how overwhelming it could be at times. But to me it's an interesting perspective, because it's a very honest song, especially the first one. It's called This Christmas I'm Not Coming Home, and it's about my feelings that first Christmas, when I was obviously processing all this information coming from everywhere, from every Christmas tree, every light, every house. But at the same time, I was missing home so bad. So it's a mix of feelings. And again, it's a very personal song to me. And I can't wait for everybody to listen to it, because it's not the traditional Christmas music you're kind of used to, because it's Christmas music written by Cubans. So yeah, definitely the best way to support us is just following us everywhere, and make sure that you're following us, especially on Spotify, because there's a lot of new music coming the rest of this year and next year. So you don't want to miss music, because music is very important. And if you support me this way, I'm actually supporting you as well with music, because everybody needs music.
Right. Yeah, that's how I'm getting by. Well, I want to thank you so much again, Lisset, for your time. I appreciate it so much. And,
it was very fun.
So to find out more about the Sweet Lizzy Project, check them out at sweetlizzyproject.com. They got their albums, their CDs, and a whole host of quarantine live streaming sessions that you can check out too. So hope you enjoyed that one. I had a blast doing it, and stay tuned, stay safe, and we'll see you all soon.